Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khatimil anbiya wa sayyidil mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi al-ghurril mayameen wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi as-sami'il alim min ash-shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بلغوا عني ولو آية. ثم قال عليه الصلاة والسلام لا تحقرن من المعروف شيئا ولو أن تلقى أخاك بوجه طليق أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Respected brothers and sisters, it is always a pleasure being in Karachi. It is my honor to present this topic and its importance in front of you. The point I will be addressing today is simply action. Loosely translated into Arabic as amal. Action is what Iman constitutes. We are told by the scholars of Islam that Iman has a definition. Belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a definition. And that definition goes as follows. Iman is qawlun bil lisan, stating your faith, your ideas on your tongue or from your tongue. Wa tasdeequn bil janan, or wa tasdeequn bil qalb, and wa amalun bil arkan, and then acting upon it. So number one is stating it, and then believing in it firmly in your heart, and then acting upon it. That's Iman. This is what the scholars of Islam have told us Iman means. If there is no action, then the Iman is lacking. There is little faith. And this is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave plenty of examples in this regard. Even someone who removes something harmful from the road, you see a rock, you see a stone, you see something harmful in the path, you remove it. It's a very simple way of acting upon Islam. Even that is equated with Iman by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Iman is action. Taking the plunge, that's the topic I was given. The title is Taking the Plunge. Action, action, action. What do we mean by taking the plunge? Taking the plunge means simply dive into the sea. Don't just stand next to the sea and look at the shores. As they say in Urdu, that those people who stand on the shores do not bring out pearls from the sea. The ones who have the courage to dive into the sea are the ones who will find pearls. This is how it works in Islam. In Islam, you just don't simply think, you act. When you think and when you determine that what you have thought is true and right, then you act upon it. But before you act, you have to know what you're doing is right. It is virtuous. It is intelligent. It is legal. It is the right thing to do. These points are very important. Sometimes shaitan comes to you and he causes you to act. The action has to be righteous. This is why this is just not any action. Action in Islam, amal in Islam has to be salih. It has to be righteous. So when we are talking about action in Islam, it has to be righteous, amal and salih. And amal and salih also has a very clear definition. What is a righteous action in Islam? When we talk about taking the plunge, we don't mean taking the plunge without establishing whether you are taking a plunge into the right place. Because sometimes when you take a plunge, you don't come out. Right? You don't want to die taking the plunge. We want you to live. We want you to continue. We want you to continue serving the ummah. So when you take a plunge, it doesn't mean you take a plunge without thinking much. You have to understand the importance of what you are about to do and whether it is the right thing to do or not. This is very, very important. What is more important than an action is the act of determining whether that action is true or correct or righteous. So what is a righteous action in Islam? Amal and salih. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again and again repeatedly in the Quran gives us the formula, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, those who believe and do righteous deeds. Those who believe and do righteous deeds. What are the righteous deeds? Number one, a righteous deed must come with the right intention. The intention has to be correct. The intention has to be correct. If the intention is wrong before you do the action, that action is wasted. That action is not important. It is gone down the drain. No matter how hard you work, it doesn't matter how long you spent in the gym, pumping 100 kilos on your chest or on your shoulders. All of that hard work, killing of your cells or breaking of your cells has gone to waste. So your intentions have to be correct. Why are you lifting such heavy weight? Why are you doing these deeds in the first place? Is it to impress someone? Is it to earn something? Is it to expect another reward than reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or is it purely for the sake of Allah? So if you do little action, if you put little effort into something with the right intention, that is more worthy of praise as far as Allah is concerned than doing something heavy, doing something big without the right intention. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us. He warned us about the importance of intention. He told us 3 people will be thrown into hellfire on the day of judgment. 3 people. This is how important intentions are. A scholar, a mujahid, and a philanthropist. Someone who does charity. So a scholar will be brought on the day of judgment. And he will be scholar. Someone you considered a sheikh. All of you were serving him like he's your father. You respected him. In this dunya, when he was walking here, you thought this man is a very righteous man. And he was given titles like Imam, Sheikh, Maulana, Mufti, Allama. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Like we have some people nowadays, mashallah. You know, the name is hardly there. All you have is the titles. There's a big line of titles. So some of these people, Allah will throw into hellfire on the day of judgment. They say, Ya Allah, I was teaching people all my life. No, you are a liar, he will be told. You were doing it so that people can give you titles and importance. Now taste the fire. Likewise, a mujahid fi sabilillah will be brought. Someone people knew as the lion of Allah, the sword of Allah, and the list goes on and on and on. He will be thrown into hellfire even though that man might have given his life, apparently, fi sabilillah, and he will be thrown into hellfire. He will say, Ya Allah, I gave my life, my wealth, my health, everything for you. No, you are a liar, he will be told. You did it so people can call you a brave man, a lion of Allah, so and so, such and such. And then a man will be brought, a man who gave charity, and people who saw him thought, what a righteous man. Allahu Akbar, look at the charity he does. Look how generous he is. Look how much he gives fi sabilillah, into hellfire on the day of judgment. Ya Allah, I gave all this charity for you, all my money, all my wealth. I was spending it day and night. You are a liar, he will be told, because your intention was wrong. You are doing it so people call you a generous man. Allahu Akbar. So much hard work and effort can go to waste. You think that scholar who will be thrown into hellfire didn't work hard? There are people working hard day and night, reading books, studying books. So that knowledge, that action, is not actually important in itself. Lifting a weight, putting an effort into something, running a marathon, working hard for 20 hours a day, in itself is not important if the intention is incorrect, if the intention is not purified. So a righteous action constitutes, number one, firstly, most importantly, righteous intention, right intention for the sake of Allah. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Man kana fi innamal a'malu binniyat wa innama likulli imri'in ma nawa wa man kanat hijratuhu ilallahi wa rasulihi fa hijratuhu ilallahi wa rasulihi wa man kanat hijratuhu lidunya yusibuha aw imra'atin yankihuha fa hijratuhu ila ma hajara ilayhi." Hadith number 1 in Sahih al-Bukhari and some other collections. The first hadith of Kitab al-Wahi, it has no connection with the book whatsoever. The hadith Imam Bukhari puts in his collection right in the beginning in a book titled Kitab al-Wahi, the book of Revelation. The hadith has no connection to the chapter. Why did he put this hadith right in the beginning of his collection? Sahih al-Bukhari, the most authentic book after the Quran itself. Why? Why? To highlight the importance of intention. To remind himself and to remind his readers that I do this work for the sake of Allah. This is my reminder. In the beginning of my collection, I put this hadith so that my intentions are purified. I'm doing it for Allah, not to impress you. I don't care what you think. I'm doing it for Allah. And the one who reads it is reminded that if you want to study Sahih al-Bukhari, you will go through Kitab al-Iman, Kitab al-Ilm, Kitab al-Salah, Kitab al-Jihad, Kitab al-Hajj, Kitab al-Sawm, or, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on, all the way up to the end. If you are going to go through this book, which is hard work, Bukhari is the last book that is taught in Madaris in the final years, because it is a complicated book. It is hard work. Those of you who study Sahih al-Bukhari, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. It is hard work. So, you are being reminded in the beginning, before you start studying all of this and think of acting upon all of this, purify your intentions. Otherwise, you're wasting your time reading this book. You're wasting your time. If you're going through Sahih al-Bukhari and you'll spend a year or 2 or 3 years studying this work with an intention to act upon it, and your intention in the beginning is wrong, then you're wasting your time. Waste of brain cells and molecules. So the intention is absolutely important. Number 2, a righteous action, amalun salih, must be done according to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has 2 conditions, a righteous action. Number one, intention has to be correct. Number two, it has to be done according to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. It has to be upon the way of the Prophet ﷺ. This is where the issue of thinking comes in. Sometimes your intentions are right, but the action is messed up. The action, what you do, is completely devastating. I'll give you a very good example. The Kharijites, who emerged in the early days of Islam during the lifetime of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. He had to deal with a very rash, rude people. Now, was there a problem with their intention as such? Was there a problem with their dedication to Islam? No. Allahu Akbar. Khawarij were some of the most dedicated people to Islam. When Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu went to the camp, he heard a buzzing sound like bees. You know when you go to a beehive, you know what I'm talking about? You hear this buzzing sound. You know there is something around. And it is these bees making that noise in the hive. Abdullah bin Abbas, he went to the camp of the Khawarij. And for the details, you have to go and study some books. There is a book written by Sheikh As-Salabi. I am sure his works have been translated into Urdu and English. He wrote in Arabic. If you can read his works in Arabic, all the better. If not, then his works can be found in English as well as Urdu. As-Salabi. Okay, and he wrote a volume on Ali bin Abi Talib, and in this volume he gives the details. He wrote about Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali radiallahu anhum ajma'in, and Muawiyah radiallahu anh, and Hassan, and then he wrote about other issues and the Umayyad Empire. So a number of works have been translated into Urdu. Darus Salam has published them. You can go and find those translations. Nicely done. So the Khawarij were very, very dedicated to Islam and in their action. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his companions that when you will see these people, you will belittle your salah. You think you don't pray. When you will see them reading the Quran, you will think that you don't read the Quran. The sound of buzzing Abdullah bin Abbas heard in the camp was the sound of the Quran. The Khawarij were reading the Quran. These were the very people who insulted Ali bin Abi Talib on daily basis. A man who was promised Jannah by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They considered him a disbeliever. Why? Because of the extremism. Their intentions were right. They thought they were righteous. They were very close to Allah. They were very dedicated. They were praying day and night. They were reading the Quran. And they went to such extremes in their rashness and their rudeness that they started to attack authorities beyond them. Like we have some youngsters running around nowadays in our societies. They study for a couple of years and then they start to give fatwas and they start to condemn scholars who have studied for 30, 40 years. Have you come across this phenomenon? Do you know what I'm talking about? This is how Khawarij were. This is what they did. They were mostly a bunch of youngsters who started to attack people like Ali bin Abi Talib and those companions who stood with him. Not only that, they killed the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the intentions were irrelevant when the actions were wrong. So the action has to be according to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has to be done intelligently, rightly. It has to fit into the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So righteous action comes with two things. So when you act, when you take the plunge, you have to know what are you plunging into, right? When you have determined that what you are about to do is true, correct, and right, then take the plunge, act upon it, and then you will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Making sure that in your action, in that process, you are not harming and destroying lives. So why is action important? I've talked about, I have a structure here I'm following. I have talked about the definition of righteous action, the meaning of action in Islam. I've already stated in the beginning that Iman constitutes action most importantly. Primarily, Iman is action. Without action, Iman is lacking. Iman is lacking. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called your salah Iman in the Quran. Your salah is actually your Iman. So when you pray, it is a sign of Iman. When you go to the masjid, it is a sign of Iman. When you give charity, it's a sign of Iman. So Iman is action. So what is action now? The next point I've already explained what a righteous action is in Islam. Next point is the importance of this righteous action. Why is this righteous action important? Why should you take the plunge? Why do you have to rush to take the plunge, having thought carefully whether the plunge is the right thing to do or not? Why is it important? It is important because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look at your actions, not your thoughts. There are many people who think right. There are many people who think right. Are you listening to me, brothers and sisters? Hello? Wakey, wakey. Hello? I don't think you're listening to me. Are you listening to me? Sisters are listening. I know. Brothers, are you listening? Stand up, please, all of you. Please. All of you. All of you say, Adnan Rashid, we love you. No, I didn't say I love you. Say, Adnan Rashid, I love you. For the sake of Allah. Zabardasti. I love you too, brothers. Sit down, please. May Allah love you for whose sake you love me, even though I force you to love me. So, I want you to understand, this is very important. The point I'm about to make right now is very, very important. The importance of action. Why is action important? Now we have understood that Iman constitutes action, and action in Islam has a set definition, righteous action. The next point is, why is it important? Why? Because it is action that will get you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is due to actions why certain companions were given more importance than others. Why is Abu Bakr so important? Why was Umar so important? Why was Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah more important than some others? You know, we have a hierarchy even among the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was based upon actions. It was based upon the actions. So we have 100,000 companions of the Prophet ﷺ approximately, according to some rough estimates. Then we have 10,000 by name. The names are documented. 10,000 of them approximately we know by name. And a book, you can find them in, is titled Usudul Ghaba fi Ma'rafat al-Sahaba, written by a scholar of the past known as Ibn al-Athir. Ibn al-Athir has written this book, and this book contains nearly 8,000 biographies of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. 8,000 biographies of the companions. You can find it in Urdu also. It has been translated. You have no excuse. And out of those 8,000 we know by name, or 10,000 we know by name, we have Ashabul Badr. Ashabul Badr, 313. Why? Why are they important? Because they were in Badr, action. They were there with the Prophet ﷺ when it was difficult to be with him. Then we have Ashara Mubashara. Actually, before Ashabul Badr, we have Ashabul Shajar, about whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran, 14, nearly 1,400 companions. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجر. Allah is pleased with those believers who were under the tree with you when they gave their pledge of allegiance to you. So They were 1,400 out of 100,000. Very important figures. Very, very important figures. Why are they important? Because they were with the Prophet ﷺ, having traveled from Medina all the way to Hudaybiyah. Action, they walked. They lost their blood cells, putting an effort with the Prophet ﷺ. You know, walking, riding a camel or riding a beast is not easy. They did that. They put an effort into working with the Prophet, walking with the Prophet towards Makkah. Action made them important. Ashab al-Badr, 313 action. It made them important because they went out with the Prophet ﷺ, did not abandon him. Allahu Akbar. And when the Prophet ﷺ questioned some of the companions whether they will stand by, one of the leaders of Ansar stood up and said, Ya Rasulullah, do you think we will abandon you? No. They will be remembered until the day of judgment. Allahu Akbar. And then Ashra Mubashra, 10 who were promised Jannah by the Prophet ﷺ in their lives, actions. Not because they were thinking, sitting at home like philosophers, that the world has these problems. It should be like, you know, in Pakistan when you go to a dinner, everyone is a philosopher. Everyone is a political philosopher, definitely. Everyone wants to talk about politics. Everyone. I mean, without a fail, believe me or not, I've lived half my life in Pakistan. Every time I went to a dinner, to a gathering, where uncles and chachas and mamas, you know, are sitting and talking to each other, it's always politics, Pakistani politics. Everyone is a thinker and a philosopher. But not even 1% of those uncles or those cousins or those youngsters who are talking about it are doing something to change it. They're not doing anything to change the situation. They're just talking. They're just talking and thinking. So, people are important because they acted. This is why Abu Bakr was important. Because Abu Bakr did things. D-I-D. He did things that will weigh heavily on his scale on the day of judgment. Abu Bakr did things. Umar bin Khattab did things. Uthman was promised Jannah a number of times by the Prophet ﷺ, not for sitting at home and thinking, rather coming forward and doing something. Ali was promised Jannah for doing something. My time is running out, so I have to very quickly rush and make my points. So, Abu Bakr, the Prophet said he did what no one else did for Islam. He was giving funds to free captives from Meccans when no one was there to help them. Umar stood by the Prophet ﷺ when no one had the courage to do so. Uthman came forward with his wealth. Ya Rasulullah, 100 camels laden with logistics. Jannah for you, Uthman. Another 100 camels, Ya Rasulullah. Jannah for you, Uthman. Another 100 camels, and then he brings a bag of gold, and the Prophet ﷺ is lifting those coins and dropping them, and he's saying, Uthman, from this day on, none of your actions will affect you. You have been promised Jannah by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because these actions are very difficult at those times. That's why they're important. This is why we keep talking about them. So, thinkers and philosophers are not important until they act upon what they think. So taking the plunge is very important, my brothers and sisters. Don't just sit and think. Don't stand next to the sea and count waves. Dive in and go and look for pearls, and Allah will bless you with pearls. If you stand on the sea, then it will not give you the treasures you're looking for. So what ways can we increase action? The final point I'm ending before you shoot me. Okay? You should have had a tranquilizer for me. You know what a tranquilizer is? What is it? You know, when they want to put a tiger or a lion to sleep or some animal, you know, because they can't get close to it, it's too dangerous, they tranquilize the animal, yeah? The injection, yeah? So if you tranquilize me, I'll fall and you can pick me up. So, ways to increase actions. Ways to increase actions. How can we take the plunge? Start small. Very quickly, final point, start small. These are some of the tips I want to give you so that you can actually help yourselves climb the ladder of taking the plunge, right? Some have the capacity to take the plunge in low waters, others have the capacity to plunge in deep waters. Now imagine someone who doesn't know how to swim and goes and takes a dive into the pool at the deepest point. What's going to happen? You're going to drown. You're going to die, right? But if you start making your way up slowly, go into low waters and check the waters and then make your way up. And this is what shaitan wants you to do sometimes. You know, shaitan causes you to do righteous actions. Do you know? Do you know? Like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in a hadith that it will be either Islam will overpower you or you will overpower Islam. What does he mean by that? Islam will overpower you. What does he mean by that? It will be overwhelming. You will take on too much on yourself. You want to become Hassan Basri in 1 week, right? You want to become like Aisha radiallahu anha in the case of sisters in 1 week or 1 month. So what you do sometimes, right? Now I'm going to do something. I'm waking up. And then shaitan pushes you. Yeah, go, mashallah, yallah, go, do. This is a good thing. You want to do this, you want to do this. Yeah, and you walk into this action. You start praying. I'm going to pray 10 nafals every night. Right? I'm going to start with 10 nafal, tahajjud. I'm going to pray every night 10 nafals. So you start praying. Allahu Akbar. First night 10 nafal, crying. Ya Allah, please. Yeah. Next night, again 10. Third night 10. Chauthi night, ye kya ho raha hai yaar? I'm getting tired. Right? And then it goes, aaj 8 pad leta hu. Huh? And then slowly by the time the month is over, you have stopped praying completely because you took on too much on yourselves. So know your capacity. Start with 2. And stick to 2. Don't overburden yourselves with extra actions. So start little. Start little. So I recommend all of you brothers and sisters who are listening to me right now, it's a practical tip. Start a small good deed. And this is one of the reports I mentioned in the beginning. لا تحقرن من المعروف شيئا ولو أن تلقى أخاك بوجه طليق. That even a smile is considered a good deed in Islam. So smiling doesn't take anything from you. Smile at your sisters and smile at your brothers. Brothers don't smile at sisters and sisters don't smile at brothers. Okay? Now you may be thinking, okay, there's a nice sister there, so I'm going to smile at her. This is a good deed. Yeah? No, that's not what the Prophet means, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? He means that you smile at your brother, sisters smile at the sisters. And it's a good deed, tabassum. You know, when you smile at someone, you put good feelings in the other person's heart. You know, the other person starts feeling better. If you're angry at someone and the person is smiling, not a cheeky smile, not a sarcastic smile, I'm not talking about that smile. I'm talking about a sincere smile. When you are sincerely smiling to put someone at ease, it is a good deed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even that, Allahu Akbar, Allah will reward you for that. If it's for the sake of Allah, it will weigh heavier on your scale than lifting 1,000 kg on your shoulders. Do not belittle any of your good deeds. So just start little. If you have the capacity to support an orphan, start with 1 orphan, brothers and sisters. In Karachi, there are possibly hundreds of thousands of orphans. Find an orphan, find one. Can I request quickly something? Can you all promise me? Put your hands up. I'm finishing right now. Sorry, guys. Okay, right now. Can you put not yet. Can you all promise me that you will, from now on, from this day on, practically, do 1 good deed for the rest of your lives, 1 good deed. I want anything, whatever it is, small, big, it's entirely up to you. Okay, preferably something small that can be consistently done. Can you all promise me that you will do 1 good deed only for the sake of Allah for the rest of your lives, consistently? Whether you do it every week, every month, every day, it's entirely up to you. Whether it's a smile, whether it is something harmful removed from the road, or whether it's praying 2 rakat at night, whatever it is, your choice. Or even reading one verse a day, 1 verse of the Quran a day. Can you all promise me, for the sake of Allah, that you will do at least one deed for the rest of your lives consistently? Can you promise me, please? Put your hands up. Put your hands up. You all promise me, right? Yes? My job is done. Inshallah, I will get the reward for all this. And you will. My job is done. I'm selfish, you know. I'm selfish. I really want to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, Ya Allah, perhaps, someone else was encouraged and that may become the cause of me entering Jannah. So encourage.